On this interesting episode, word has it that Real Madrid head coach Carlo Ancelotti and the club's hierarchy were very unhappy with the weekend's results against Mallorca, but remain calm and keep trusting the team. Reports Jose Felix Diaz of The Athletics. We will discuss you detailedly on that in this episode as we move forward, and shortly after that, we're going to turn our attention to the next agenda of the day, as the higher-ups at the club are also demanding €10 million for just 50% rights of academy young talent, Nico Paz. We will also talk you through that on this episode as we progress, so please stay tuned right up to the end, subscribe to this channel, follow us and turn on your notifications bell so you don't miss out on our daily Real Madrid updates. After Real Madrid's disappointing 1-1 draw with Mallorca, the frustration within the club, especially among manager Carlo Ancelotti, was undeniable. According to a report in Marca by journalist Jose Felix Diaz, Ancelotti was visibly upset after the game. The performance on the pitch was far from what he expected from his team, and it was clear that this was not the image of Real Madrid he wanted to project. He made it clear that such behavior must not be repeated. This sentiment was not limited to Ancelotti. The club management also expressed disappointment with the team's performance. However, despite the dissatisfaction, Real Madrid's management has kept their cool, even though the result has certainly put the team under intense scrutiny. Especially in the second half, Real Madrid lacked the aggression to win the ball back after losing it. Except for the final minutes of the game when time expired, Mallorca moved the ball back and forth comfortably and managed to exploit the spaces between Real Madrid's defense and midfield. Ancelotti saw a lot during the game that he did not like at all. He addressed these concerns both at halftime and after the match. The loss of 2 points was clearly a source of frustration, but what bothered Ancelotti even more was the team's style of play, a style that was far from the disciplined, structured approach he expects. The foundation of this new Real Madrid team must be unity. There's no point having the best players in the world if you don't understand that football today requires balance between attack and defense. This balance was lacking against Mallorca. Ancelotti knows very well that a club like Real Madrid cannot afford to create defensive vulnerabilities that allow their opponents to easily counterattack. Ancelotti reminded his players of the problem at halftime. He was particularly embarrassed by some of the decisions made on the field and made it clear to his players that these kinds of mistakes are not acceptable. It's no secret that Ancelotti doesn't need to shout to get his point across. The players know that nothing comes for free and that repeating such mistakes will come in big trouble. But after the Mallorca game, Ancelotti felt the need to remind his team of this reality. The win over Atlanta a few days earlier would have been meaningless if the team had wasted chances and given their opponents confidence in the league. So having discussed fully on that, we will now turn our attention to the next agenda of the day, as we talk you through academy young talent Nico Paz's future at the club, with the Merengues now willing to let go of 50% of his rights for €10 million this summer. According to journalist Fabrizio Romano, Real Madrid youngster Nico Paz is expected to leave the club this summer. After several years at the club, the midfielder seems on the verge of leaving the Santiago Bernabéu for good. Clubs interested in signing him include Cesc Fabregas's Como, as well as Girona and Alaves, who have already inquired about terms. One key aspect of the transfer is Real Madrid's insistence on including a buyback clause. This is a strategy often used by clubs when transferring young players, allowing them to maintain control over promising talent. The idea behind this clause is that if Nico develops into a talented player that Real Madrid can use in the future, the club will have the opportunity to bring him back. However, this particular clause is believed to be one of the reasons why the deal has not yet been completed, as negotiations continue to ensure all parties are happy with the terms. The decision to move Nico away from Real Madrid is not surprising, given the fierce competition for first-team places. With established players such as Federico Valverde, Eduardo Camavinga, Jude Bellingham, and Aurelien Tchouameni occupying key midfield positions, it is becoming increasingly difficult for a young player like him to break into the starting 11. Despite his potential, the 19-year-old midfielder is unlikely to get the playing time he desires at Real Madrid, so leaving the club would be a natural step in his career. During Real Madrid's preseason tour of the United States, Nico was given the opportunity to showcase his skills in the absence of some of the team's key players. Despite the lack of competition, he only managed 92 minutes of playing time across 3 games. This limited playing time suggests that manager Carlo Ancelotti may not include Nico in his immediate plans, further increasing the possibility of a departure. More updates on the young star's future will follow in our future episodes. Stay tuned so you do not miss. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Turn on your notifications bell for more Real Madrid updates. Thank you.